welcome everybody to Tectonic Takes. We have not really a special guest here today. We have one of the OGs back. What's up, Will? Welcome back.
What's up, man? What is life? What is podcast? I don't even know. I'm glad to be back, man. This is awesome time. I'm glad I get to come back when the Quakes are doing something right. So it's good
Yeah,
to be back.
it's funny. I was like, man, the Quakes won. Maybe we should get Will on finally. After 90 days of Quakes not winning, we'll have Will back on as well. So it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen a win, but I'm happy you're here with us today. I think that everybody else is happy here too as well. But let's go ahead and see. We won against Seattle Sounders. It hasn't happened in about, I think, 7 years. We haven't won since 2015. You saw the game yesterday, right? So what were your thoughts?
Well, obviously great to get 3 points. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a must. It was a must at this point to get 3 points. And especially in Seattle.
Yeah.
And it's just in that atmosphere to go into Seattle and actually take 3 points away from them. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's one of the best results you can see. I mean, there's a lot of still ups and downs with the Quakes team and where they're at, but I mean, just to come away with 3 points and hold the lead, that's what's kind of been like the big thing for us right now. I feel like the last couple of games is just getting a lead but not holding it, and we'll talk more into that. But just to actually see that is huge.
Yeah, I mean, holding a lead is huge. Ever since we went 3 in the back, we've looked more defensively sound. It looks like we're not going to lose 5-0 anymore. But I do think that we've had a problem holding on to leads late. It just seems like with Johnny Russell with Sporting Kansas City getting that, crazy rebound off of JT Marcinkowski, it was just a bit unlucky. And I was saying that we were going to win this game in the last episode. I don't know if it was my blind optimism or I felt like this was going to be our LFC of this year, right? Now we're going to go on a little run, get back in the playoff race and see what happens. But again, this is chaos ball, right? We were used to Dom Kinnear ball. I know I was talking to Will when he was not on the podcast saying he wants Dom Kinnear back, but no, this is chaos ball. We lose to the teams that we were supposed to win, and we win to the teams we're supposed to lose. So it's every day in and day out. We don't know what we're gonna get. So it's awesome. It's entertaining. But coming up right now, actually, we're filming this right before Mexico USA. Will, do you have any thoughts on that game? It's the Gold Cup final. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. We're doing the good old traditional USA versus Mexico rivalry. I mean, this is what everyone wants when it comes down to the Gold Cup. I mean, as far as it goes for the last final game, this is what we want to see. I'm just not been in whole impressed with as far as what kind of squad the US team brought. I mean, I bet there's certain reasons why we couldn't bring certain players and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, it's still not that an exciting squad to watch. But of course, we want this win no matter what. It's against Mexico. Like we're not going to not take it. I'm just hoping a lot of guys step up and we can see what maybe the future holds with some players. But these aren't the exact guys that we're going to be seeing for Qatar or any other World Cups. Most of them, I should say.
Yeah, some of these guys are the guys that are going to be possibly, injury fillers or guys who will get maybe 15 to 20 minutes on that Qatar match. Maybe one of them like Kellen Acosta or Sebastian Lletget. But yeah, again, these are the guys that basically are fighting for a spot. And I do want to see some of that fire. Giassi Zardes has been playing lights out. And I don't know. I saw him pick a ball out of the sky with a perfect, beautiful first touch, like a la Carlos Gil. And I was like, what the heck? That's Giassi Zardes. Like this guy's playing. He wants that striker position. Daryl Dike hasn't really impressed me too much. So a little bit of shocking this past Gold Cup tournament has been for me. I was expecting DK to go off like Wondolowski when he was in the Gold Cup, where he had like, I think it was like 12 goals or something crazy like that. But I think it also helped that we played like, what was that? One of those Caribbean countries where Wando scored like 5 or 6. It was insane. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see who wins. I think this Mexico squad isn't really strong as well. But they do have a stronger squad in relevance to what they're taking to Qatar. So this is more of like a B squad for USA and then like a A- kind of B+ squad for Mexico. So we'll see what happens. Will, do you have any predictions?
Man, I'm gonna. And the last time, I mean, the USA Mexico was crazy, so it's like really hard to compare because this is not the same teams that are playing each other. When the last time they played, but I expect another hard fought game. It's gonna be. I mean, I expect like maybe like a 2-1, hoping USA victory. But like I said, I just don't know with this team. I feel like they could easily fall apart, or like they're really they're gonna have to fight for it. It's definitely not going to be easy for that matter, but it's going to be a hard fought game. It's going to be probably entertaining to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0. I think USA wins 2-0. Daryl DK finally breaks his little slump that he's in, and then Jesse's already comes in last 10 minutes and scores a goal to make it sure that they win. But we'll see, right? We'll see in 30 to an hour what happens with the Mexico USA game. So going into a little bit in depth with the Seattle Sounders games, a couple of notable absences was, for sure, right, they didn't have Christian Roldan because he's with the Gold Cup squad, as well as we didn't have Jackson Newell. So I was saying that this is probably when they're the most beatable. Christian Roldan really, really runs that offense without Nicola Lodeto being out there. But Seattle still had Rui Diaz, which he had a howling miss. My God. It reminded me of his days in Peru, because my family always says that he sucks for Peru. So I was like, oh, geez. That did not look good, but we got lucky, right? He usually bangs those in. But JT again had a hell of a game. Will, who stood out to you this game?
I mean, JT came clutch. I mean, that's I'm gonna have to say. I mean, Espinoza just we've been dogging on Espinoza. I know the fans have been dogging on him, and for him to get a goal and the only goal was just huge. And hopefully, what I'm just hoping for is this, it's a confidence booster, right, or something to be positive for him, because, like I said, this is supposed to be one of our best players, and everyone's kind of ripping on him, dogging on him. I'm still feeling like everyone just needs a little relaxed a little bit. I mean, I know he hasn't performed up to par, but the whole team hasn't performed up to par. So, I mean, we're going to kind of just throw it on him because he's usually one of our star guys. But, it's just big for him to get back on the scoring sheet. And for him, I think it's huge. But also, I mean, Nathan has just been a great addition to this team. He's always everywhere on the field, slide tackles everywhere, just being aggressive. A defender that we kind of need. I feel like we haven't had a defender like that in a while.
And the renaissance of Flo in the midfield, right? What is this? I never thought getting Nathan in would make Flo play midfielders. I was just thinking that Flo would be a bench guy, but hey, if it worked, it worked, and he played well because we got the win. So no Jordan Morris to be Flo's kryptonite, but it worked. And at the end of the day, I saw Remedi on the injury report, and I was like, oh snap, like this is not going to be good. But Flo and Utzon, they held it down in the middle. Chofi's had another missing howler. I mean, that's 2 in a row now. So Chofi's, I don't know if he's trying to go for the top left corner because he always likes to shoot it with his left, but he's always hitting it over the bar nowadays. And just like, man, like just put it on frame. Maybe you get a rebound. Like maybe Kate or Wando's there for a rebound. But definitely a different type of midfielder that we've seen in the last couple of years. Usually they try to kick it on frame. But Christian Espinoza quietly now has 2 assists and 1 goal in the last 3 games. This is him turning it up, right? Like you said, we were putting it on him because he missed that penalty, and then he really didn't kind of get a goal and get out of that funk. But now he does, and now he's, acting like a DP. So this is nice to see. It's definitely nice to see Espinoza back and getting a goal, and hopefully this, like you said, grows his confidence and brings us to Portland the next game, and hopefully we get another win. Imagine if we get another win, right? Imagine if we go to Seattle, get a win, and then Portland get a win. But yeah, Will, what'd you think about the Seattle squad? I know it wasn't a JV team, but it's definitely Seattle's team. What'd you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it wasn't their best. I mean, without Roldan and Stephen Fry in net, I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same. But at the end of the day, this is still a great Seattle team. And in Seattle, I mean, to put that in this perspective, I mean, like I said, we haven't beaten Seattle forever, so we definitely have to beat them at home or at their home forever as well. I mean, it might be even longer. I'm not sure.
It's 7 years. 7 years since
we beat them at home. Okay. Yeah. So 7 years. I mean, like that's 7 seasons, 2 playoff seasons for us that we didn't beat them in Seattle. So I mean, that just puts in perspective. Like, wow. I mean, it's hard to beat them in Seattle, and to do it there, even regardless that it wasn't the best team, it's amazing accomplishment. For the Earthquakes.
Yeah, and it wasn't our best team either, right? We were definitely depleted with injuries and suspensions and international duty. But this now is Seattle's, I believe, third loss in their last 4 games. So something, something to keep an eye on for Seattle. They're crashing hard and fast. So definitely now the Quakes are unbeaten in 5, right? Unbeaten in 5. So four draws and a win. What do you think about this kind of little group of points for the Quakes? Do you think it's possible that they make it back into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think this team could streak. I mean, the Quakes are, I feel like, they're a hot and cold kind of team.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, and as long as they get hot at the right time and they just get enough points, I don't see why. I'm not expecting. I think probably our predictions early in the season were like middle of the pack of the
Right.
playoffs. I think now we're kind of more realistically on the bottom tier of it, just
Yeah.
because of how the games have been playing. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think the chances are still there, especially if we're getting wins like this. But I mean, like I said, it's got to keep building on this momentum, especially against Portland coming up here.
Yeah, and Nathan has been a very, very good pickup. I usually do the tackles per the season so far on Instagram, and I've noticed that he's about to pass everybody in his 5-6 games that he's already played with us. So it's insane how many tackles that guy racks up. It's a little bit aggressive at times. He could pick up some easier yellows. Maybe when he gets a little more accustomed to the league and they start to know that he's aggressive, the refs start hounding him with yellows, but definitely has been a great solid pickup. I want to see a little bit more of his passing game. I think that's something that caught the eye of Jesse Fioranelli, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. We haven't had a great passer in the back line. Flo, when he first started playing center back, was a great passer. Clarence Goodson was a great passer too from the back line. I remember that. He would do some beautiful balls up to the top. But we'll see if that comes out of Nathan now. But changes to the formation, Will. Did you like this formation? Chofis was kind of pushed into a false 9 role. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I mean, this whole thing about 3 defenders in the back. I mean, this is kind of something we might see with the Earthquakes, and especially we might see more flow in the center back position and more with Judson, and they're kind of more of a defensive like group down there.
Yeah.
And down.
Will, we can cut you out for a second. Go ahead.
No worries. I was just saying that we'll probably see this formation a little bit more with the 3 defenders at the back. I mean, I think it's going to stick like that until it doesn't. And especially we're going to probably see Flo, I would say, more in the center defensive mid position, just because him and Judson together probably could just really hold it down in the backfield.
Yeah, and Tanner Beeson's quietly having a solid season too. Like he was just the draft pick a couple of years ago, and now he's a solid piece to this rotation. It seems to me like the Quakes, at least they do use their draft picks and they use them well. Will, is there a young player that you're actually excited for? Because you haven't been on this podcast in a while, so there's been a kind of a renaissance of all these young players. Has there been any that caught your eye? Think that deserve more playing time?
No, I've been a big Tanner fan. I think I've been probably one of the ones sticking with Tanner for a while. Sorry, more connection issues.
Yeah, more connection issues. No worries. Yeah, so Tanner Beeson, you've had an eye on them, or an eye on him, and you've liked him for a while. I remember last year you were crying for him, right? So.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's proven when he stepped in Fallen East, and he's had times this season. I mean, he had the assist, and I don't think he's had a goal yet. But I mean, he's definitely proven that he can play center back for the Quakes.
Yeah,
and I think I've been chirping about him longer than probably anybody else. So I mean, I think I'm big on defense, so I think I'll stick with him. I know we have a lot of other young guys coming in and stepping up, and of course I can't I wasn't going to use the obvious like Cade talk, like obviously he's one of our youngest stars, but we'll definitely get Cade into this podcast for sure though.
Yeah, and speaking of Cade a little bit, right? I remember Jamin Moore from Quakes Epicenter. He went ahead and released a graphic where Cade was not involved at all in the offense. So maybe Matias Almeida will kind of look at that, and that probably has to do why he kind of came off early. He also picked up a yellow, so it was kind of evident why they took him off early, or maybe they were just saving his legs for Portland. Maybe they're gonna run him at the stereotypical 9 next week, so they wanted to save his legs a bit. But yeah, what'd you think of Cade this last game? I know Cade has come down a little bit. He played the left winger spot today. What do you think his best position is? Kind of looking at the games this season.
I mean, as far as last game, since I've actually finally saw this one, I think Cade had times where he had great runs, but then he couldn't get the, he was going into like 4 Seattle Sounders players.
Right.
Maybe he kind of needed to like settle down a second, take a second. He was trying to kind of just go for it all. And then that penalty, excuse me, that yellow card he got was, it was frustration. He finally got up to him, his frustration. He just, decided to take a bad penalty. And I can see either why Almeida took him out, either to save him or plus because he just took a terrible yellow card that was unnecessary.
Yeah, and I think that's Cade Cowell's first yellow card. I don't remember him getting another yellow card anytime soon. So I was like, wow, he really got frustrated. I mean, he took on 3 defenders during that time, and I was like, oh, he almost had it. If he just would have passed it to Espinoza on that outside foot like he did earlier in the season, we would have maybe had another goal. But what'd you think of the subs? What'd you think of the guys who came on? Andy Rios took away another Chris Wondolowski goal. No, but in all seriousness, that one, I don't harp on him as much as the one before, but that one was just unfortunate. This one was just unfortunate, I feel like, because he was falling outside of bounds and he did pass the ball out just a little too late. Oh, Will fell asleep on that because you there, Will? Sorry, another connection. Go ahead.
Man, we're having some issues when my first time back, dude.
It's all good. I'm tethering off of a phone because I have the worst Wi-Fi in the world. So no worries. It wasn't too bad. I talked to myself, so it's all good. Oh God, already again. So no worries. Will, one more time. It's my connection. One more time. Are you there?
Okay. Yes. The subs, the wonderful subs. Man, I mean, so do you have the full list of subs that came on?
Yeah. So Eric Rometty, Andy Rios, Chris Wondolowski, and Marcos Lopez.
Right. Okay. I was just making sure. I didn't want to say. I was going to talk about Marcos Lopez. I think he came in. Yeah. I was just making sure. So yeah. I think Marcos Lopez did a great job coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so used to him starting. So definitely coming in and supplying for a great. I just thought like, all right, could they brought him in for? I think he actually subbed out for Cade Cowell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like, all right, for sure. Like this first time I could really think of Almeida really trying to think of defensively.
Right.
We're trying to win this game. So we want to bring in a defensive player, and no better than to bring in Lopez for that. And of course, yes, Wando, he had an almost chance for another goal and I think Lopez set him up for that goal.
Yeah, he had an assist on that.
Yeah, or it would have been an assist on that. But yeah, so again, Lopez came in solid defensively, almost had an assist for Wando. Yeah. But yeah, and I just Rometty's always solid. Rios, man, I don't know, man. I just sometimes Rios is like he's one of those players who just like sometimes you're just like, oh wow, he does so many. That's so cool. He does something great. Like against Vancouver, he does that nice little flick for a goal, or like he does something. You're like, wow, and then other times you're just like, why are you out here, man?
Well, like, why are you playing? The craziest thing about it is like, man, this guy's really unlucky. Like, I just think, like, it's just the narrative, right? And it just happens. Like the last 2 games, he had 2 goals taken away. Like that's 2 negative goals already. Like, oh no, but yeah, I understand the fan sentiment, but hopefully it turns it around. It's a win, right? It's a team win, so definitely something nice to see for everybody. And Christian Espinoza, this is what I've been wanting from him. I mean, I want him to take shots from the middle, right? Because I feel like he has his best opportunity to kind of sneak one in like he did. And that's why I want to see him at the striker role, to be honest. But I want him to see him come inside more and shoot the ball more from the front of the goal instead of the side of the goal. Because I feel like he kind of doesn't either get too much power off from the side, or maybe it's just a worse angle, but in front of goal, it was evident today that he has the power to sneak it past. Is that what you want to see from Christian Espinoza?
I mean, yeah, we'll all like goals. I just want him to, get more. Obviously, I feel like he's more of a playmaker. So getting more sets up. We want rather him set up trophies. I mean, we brought trophies in for this, and we like to set him up for Cade. So we'd like to see him that. But of course, yeah, if he's able to, not lose the ball and productively bring it to the middle and put a shot on net. I mean, of course, I think we'd like to see that, and he'll probably score some more goals doing that. Definitely.
Yeah. So looking at the stats, the Sounders outshot the Quakes 11-5. Shots on targets, the Sounders outshot 3-2. Possession Sounders had 65% of possession. So this is a very, very smash and grab type of win for the Quakes, but it worked, right? Passing accuracy, 84% for the Sounders, 72% for the Quakes. Chances created, 2-1, the Sounders led. Corners, Sounders led 7-1. So definitely the Quakes didn't get any corners off. Fouls, 17-16, the Sounders led. Offsides, the Quakes have 3 and the Sounders have 1. Quakes get a bunch of offsides, so that's something to keep an eye on. But yep, Nathan did pick up a yellow in the 94th minute, so that's something to keep an eye on. But this is the Heritage Cup, Will. The Heritage Cup is the last 2 standing teams with the NASL names. So this is between the Sounders and the Quakes every year. And this year, the Quakes have a good opportunity to kind of take the cup back home. We did take a loss, but we actually won. And this last game in September, we'll go ahead and see who gets to keep the cup this year. But it's a legit cup. They bring it out. So it's pretty cool. Little piece of NASL history. But yeah, no, definitely. I felt like this game was a good game, solid win. It puts us in a good position on the table. Let me go ahead and read off the table. In the Western Conference, the Quakes are now in 11th place. So above them is FC Dallas. The reason why they're below or the head of the Quakes is because of our -7 goal difference. So definitely something to work on. Houston, right above Dallas, 9th, is with 18 points. So very attainable, 1 point away. The Portland Timbers, 8th with 19 points. So again, if we win against Portland, we jump into the 8th spot, 1 point away from the playoff race. So long season ahead, very attainable. The playoff the last playoff spot is Real Salt Lake with 21 points. So easily attainable. Will, any teams that have really shocked you? Have you been paying attention to the rest of the MLS?
I mean, no, not honestly.
No.
I just kind of I've been so busy. Like it's been such hard time to follow. At least, especially the rest of them. Obviously, I'm trying to keep as updated as possible with the Quakes.
Yeah,
and obviously with you guys and what you're doing. So, so no, I haven't really focused. But as far as what you just read off, I mean, the biggest one is Portland being so low on the table.
Yeah.
So obviously that means they're not having that great of a season, and this is a time where the Quakes need to need to show up against a team that's kind of struggling, period. There's nothing more about it than that.
And then Austin FC in last place in the Western Conference with 13 points. So we'll see what happens with them, right? Maybe they become a Cincinnati FC. But in the Eastern Conference, now in first place is the Revolution, second place is Orlando, and then in last place is Inter Miami. So something to keep an eye on too. They have one of the highest payrolls in the whole league, as well as Atlanta United. They're in 11th with 14 points. So they can easily be in last place. Wooden spoon territory for Atlanta and Inter Miami. All right. So interesting games coming up. I think we have a whole bunch of games. I'm not going to list them off, but just looking at this list, Toronto, New York City will be definitely a good game. LAFC versus Sporting Kansas City, and then the Timbers and Quakes are all games to look out for. Make sure you guys set up your fantasy lineups. And Will, any kind of last comments you want to go ahead and talk about? I know this podcast is a little short and sweet, but actually we could talk about the Portland. We can talk about the Portland game. What do you want to see from the Quakes, and what do you want from them?
I feel like where the Quakes are at is going to be kind of similar to the Seattle game. Yeah. I feel like Portland's probably going to be more dominant on most of the game. Obviously, I would like to see some more corners from what we got last game.
Yeah.
So some more pressure. But again, just still win. We got to secure a win, get 3 points. So again, just get a goal, get a lead, and obtain and hold it. I feel like as far as what the Quakes need to do is this is the whole reason I joked around about the whole Dominic Kinnear thing was when we had Dom, we'll get a goal and we'll hold the lead.
Right.
That's the thing.
We would just go ahead and park the bus and get a win, right? So definitely it worked, but it was definitely not the most attractive soccer.
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not. But I think Quakes fans would would consider a playoff spot for that, for a little boring soccer, and then get exciting for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Matias Almeida is learning how to adjust. So it's obvious with this 3 in the back type of system where in the last 2 years he never was like this type of I'm just gonna bunker down type of person and get the points. But it's nice to see now that he's changing his ways and adjusting to MLS, because that's really what it means, right? Adjusting to MLS is huge. I'm expecting the same lineup to come out. Maybe Flo or Remedi in for Flo, Marcos Lopez in for Seychelles. But I think we're going to see almost the same thing in Cade Cowell, Trophies, and Espinoza up top. But yeah, I feel like this is a good opportunity to grab another win. Portland just lost. I think it was 4-1 to the LA Galaxy in LA, though. But yeah, they just got demolished by the LA Galaxy. So something to keep an eye on. We should definitely think about getting a win here, too, as well. Will, what do you predict? A win or a draw? What do you think?
Man, I mean, I think my first podcast back, I gotta hope for a win.
Yeah.
Another 1-0, another exciting 1-0. And I think Cade's going to get back on the scoring sheet. I think he gets so many opportunities and chances to see one. So we're going to give Cade a 1-0 win.
Yeah, and I forgot to actually say it. JT Marskowski's second clean sheet of the year, right? So I totally forgot about that. And it's deservedly so. He had some good saves here. Going back to that game, Will, sorry, I forgot to ask, who was your man of the match? Who'd you think deserved your man of the match? Was it JT Marskowski? Was it Christian Espinoza?
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the top two, and I'm just going to go with JT. I think it's an easy one when it comes to having a clean sheet against Seattle, made clutch saves, and honestly was probably the reason why we really won this game.
Yeah, in Seattle too. Getting a clean sheet in Seattle is something very hard to do. So he's going to get my man of the match as well. I think this is a good start for Christian Espinoza, and I think the Quakes gave it to him for a little bit of confidence boost. But without JT this game, I think we would have been pretty screwed. So definitely, but looking forward to the Portland game, I think we can snatch a 2-1 victory. I think Cade gets on the score sheet again. I think Wando comes on late to do the 2-goal lead. And then maybe we give up one going ahead and closing out the game. But Will, thanks for coming on, man. Any closing thoughts?
Of course. No, I mean, it's just good to be back. I'm just hopefully the fans enjoyed it. I know we had some connection issues, but at the end of the day, man, it's all about let's go Quakes, man.
Yeah. Hopefully the connection issue wasn't too bad. Hopefully I'm just talking to myself, rambling like a crazy person. But yeah, I mean, go Quakes. I'm happy you're back on, and I want to give a quick shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. And thank you to all of our viewers and listeners. It means a lot when you like and retweet this as well. So thank you. And as well as our sponsors, I want to thank the Beautiful Game Network and Roughneck Scarves for everything you guys do and produce this podcast. And that's great. Well, that's it from us. And all I want to say is go Quakes.
Go Quakes.